What's going on, guys? Gamer Guy Saris here, and I have some Smite news today. That's right, Arachne is finally getting the much-needed rework, and they showed it off today in a sneak peek on the Dev Talk stream on Smite Game, and they showed off all of her abilities. They're not showing the stats and exactly how it's going to work and the scaling and the base damage and all that kind of stuff, but we did get to see all the abilities, including a passive. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. So we're going to check it out here, and then I'm going to give my thoughts after the video.
What is her passive? Can you go through that with us?
Yeah, her passive is basically she's doing more damage as her targets have less health, and doing that based on increasing her own physical power scaling on her basic attacks. So she gets more physical power scaling as the enemy's health goes down.
So it's almost like the old chin size before there were blades and size, and then
yeah, it's similar. That was straight damage versus
straight damage.
Power scaling, but very similar. Yeah.
And so that power does not apply to, say, your ultimate or some other damaging ability. It's purely your in hand.
That's right, purely your in.
Well, first thing is her hit chain.
That's right. Yeah, she does have a hit chain. She has a very fast first attack, and then two kind of normal paced secondary attacks.
Okay. So we'll talk about her first ability here. I don't want to go over the tooltip because it'll show all the numbers. Do you remember what it's called?
I don't even think it's named the right thing yet.
It doesn't even have a real name yet.
It might have a funny name.
But basically, it is a steroid for a single hit. It does damage and then applies a dot that heals you.
That's right.
Is that the basic generalization here? So you can see her claws are now dripping. It lasts for about 4 seconds. You hit them, and then you get healed from it. So that's the general idea for this ability. Now, and then going into number 2, which is kind of the second enhanced steroid, this ability basically grants a lot of attack speed, but for a limited number of hits.
That's right.
And then it has this kind of conditional. So first off, activate it. You can see what the effects look like here, and then whack, whack, whack. So here, I'll activate it again, and boom, 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 boom. You can see just how fast these attacks do come out. With my cooldowns turned off, it's doing some weird shenanigans there, and it's lasting much longer than it should. But let's see. There's a bot god mode, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so bot god, you'll be able to see.
I think it's bots god, actually.
Is it bots god? So when I activate my 2, 1, 2, 3, the third hit puts them in a cocoon. Now, is that stun, slow, cripple, root? Like, what is this actual effect that she's doing?
It's a stun, and it actually requires you to hit all 3. So you have to hit all 3 hits to trigger the stun.
On the same target, not just
on the same target.
Okay,
that's right.
So it's a stacking debuff basically that does nothing until the third stack, which is a short duration stun. Looks to be about a second, maybe in a quarter there at max range. Let's talk about our number 3. It is this web wall, and is it the how does this relate in size to like a mirror wall?
It's very, very similar. I think there might be a couple feet difference, but it's very close.
And you can have multiple of these out, it looks like, here at a time. At least 2. So what this does, we'll go and cast it on an Odin, is it places a wall, and if an enemy runs through it, it spawns spiderlings.
And it slows them.
And it slows them. You'll also notice that Arachne moves faster in the webs on the ground. So because there's that web on the ground there, you'll see I move quite a bit faster inside of them. That is actually a pretty potent run speed buff, it looks like there. Now, in reading this before I went on, it looks like that the enemy, if it affects them, they will actually drag the web behind them.
That's correct.
So are the spiders slowing them? How long are they slowed for a long duration? Kind of how does that work?
So the spiders don't slow anymore. The slow just comes from someone running through the web.
Okay.
And then the spiders come out afterwards to add in damage. And then as the person's running, as they pass through the web, they're basically trailing web behind them. And if Arachne gets onto that trail, which lingers for a while, she moves faster.
To give you an idea of what it is exactly, you hit 4, and now you climb on top of the screen.
That's right. In this web that's always been there that you've never seen, because it's hard to see spider webs until you're right up on them.
It could be an initiation, right? Obviously, you have pretty long range. There's a long duration to 8 seconds here. I mean, this is obviously where it sits in this build here. But
to be clear, the duration and then how far she leaps are things that are currently being adjusted. So that's definitely a best case scenario. Of
this is probably a little strong. I mean, overall, but it's an extremely reliable escape. Now, what's important about this ability, let me go ahead and pop down here, is that it does not ignore collision, right? Like you actually you will have to continue to path, but you could, in theory, do something like that. Which is, it makes you pretty hard to chase, but also can be an effective initiating tool.
Damage is not super high. I mean, it's definitely meaningful. It's kind of along the line of sort of Mercury's ultimate. So it's mainly for giving her a very strong escape and a very strong way to chase someone down and kind of jump into them. Now, an important part to that, though, is we wanted to make sure, and we don't always do this with Challenge Ultimates, that she can actually activate her 1 or 2 while she's up there, so that you can prepare yourself when you come down for actually landing on someone and as fast as possible getting that stun on.
Now, overall, it's definitely an improvement. There's no way around that. She was in a pretty bad place, but just how much of an improvement, is to be seen so far because they're not showing exactly how everything's going to work. But so her passive, basically she's going to be doing more damage the more damage she does, which is cool. It's very assassin-y, right? So you've kind of you bloody them, you get them down and out, and then you go for that, you know, that killing blow, that extra damage to get that killing blow. Makes sense for assassin. Seems cool. We'll see how it works. Her number 1 activated ability basically gives somewhat of a shadow of her old passive. It's doing ticking poison damage, and it's going to heal you, which is cool. It kind of shows a bit of, she healed herself with her 2. She had that lifesteal, so this is kind of maybe somewhere showing something similar to what she was again. So yeah, that's cool. It's very simple. It's very auto attack based, which is what they're going for with her so far, both her passive, obviously, and her 1. Her 2, same thing again, very auto attack base. 1, 2, 3, attack speed. She has, basically, it reminds me of the old Guan Yu ult where you've got to hit all 3 to get that stun, except there's no slow and silence on the first 2. But, you know, it's very fast. So it's 1, 2, 3, target stunned. Looked to be a fairly decent length stun as far as if you're having an assassin that's on you, critting you like that, boom, 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 you're stunned. It could be definitely very scary. Our number 3 ability, the web wall. It seems like a decent change. Once again, they're kind of adding in things from her past abilities. You know, you've got the spiderlings, you've got the web that slows. I really like the fact that it gives you a speed boost. So if you're chasing somebody down, yes, Arachne doesn't really have a gap closer so far. So yeah, you put the wall out in front of them, similar to what Ymir would do to trap somebody, except they have to run through it. Then they're being damaged by the spiders, which also gives vision temporarily on the map. So if you have a Neath or something like that, can use the global ult to get to her. As well as the trail that's left behind allows you to run faster. So she doesn't technically have that gap closer that we've seen so far, but she does have move speed increase while chasing a target that has run through her wall, which I imagine if you can put it up in the perfect spot, once you get that timing down for the deployment time, you can put it in, boom, right away to where they really have no choice but to run right through it. Lastly, her ultimate. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's so cool, right? She goes on the ceiling. I mean, mind boggled, you know, right there up on the web, runs around. She gets a ton of movement speed, it looks like. So this thing looks like it could be that gap closer that she needs or some sort of initiation tool, but, you know, to get to the back lines, I feel like Mercury's is stronger, but overall, like, you'll see it coming a lot more. You know what I mean? It does damage. It didn't appear to have any sort of CC with it, so it's basically just going to do a damage, and what's cool is while you're up on the web, you can pop your 1 and your 2, so you're ready. When you come down, that first initial hit's going to do extra damage. It's going to have the dot. It's going to heal you while you're going for that 3 attack chain, which will give you the stun. I'm assuming that later on, there's not really anything besides a tank that's going to be able to survive Arachne crashing down on them and hitting them 3 times that fast. I mean, they're going to have to be super, super quick to be able to dash away, run away, sprint away, something before she's able to put you in that stun and then finish you off. Either that or pop the wall down. So if you do get away, you know, you're going to be slowed by the web wall. You're going to have the spiderlings ticking on you, plus the dot from her initial burst damage with the 1. You're going to be able to see it coming a lot easier, unless she's so high up that it's going to be kind of hard to see. But once again, it remains to be seen exactly how that'll work, and if you do have to actually walk around walls, which I'm not sure how. If she's up on this up high, that high, I feel like she should be able to walk over the walls. But from what they said, it doesn't appear that that's the case. So overall, I think it's pretty cool. We'll see how strong she ends up being, but I hope this will allow her to at least be played on somewhat of a level, whether it's casuals or ranked. Maybe not competitive, but we'll see. So overall, I'd give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.